Hey kids, good afternoon. Mr. Tom here with another Sunday school lesson. Last week we talked about the tabernacle in the wilderness and how you had that brazen altar in the front of it, and that's really going to come to play this week. We also had the anointing of Mary, the sister of Martha and Lazarus in Bethany, who anointed Jesus' feet and wiped her his feet and with this very, very expensive perfume. I think it would have taken a year's wage in order to have acquired that perfume and all that. And all of that was very prophetic and very important, that all of that happened, and that it happened when it did happen. And so now that that is over with, the things are in place. And the very next day, Jesus heads couple of miles away into Jerusalem, and it's a Sunday. It's a Sabbath day, I guess it is, I should say, and it is known as Jesus' Triumphal Entry. And there are a couple of prophecies that this fulfills when Jesus does this on the specific day. And the first one is it's in right after chapter 12, but it's a prophecy from Zechariah 9 verses 9 that says, "Fear not, daughter of Zion, behold, your king is coming, seated on a donkey's colt." And so this is Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem, and he's presenting himself as the Messiah. But rather than him coming like this great conqueror and all that, with his army and his horses and things like that, he's coming with his disciples, and he's seated on a donkey. He's the coming conqueror, but again, as so often happens with Jesus in his prophecies, it's the opposite of what we think of in the world. And he's coming lowly and humble. But he is coming, and he is presenting himself to Israel as their prince, the Messiah. And there's another very specific prophecy that is fulfilled on this very day. It's in Daniel chapter 9. And the prophet Daniel is seeking the Lord. They're in exile in Babylon. And he's trying to figure out exactly when Israel is going to return. And he reads the prophecies of Jeremiah, and it talks about, and it says, "So you are to know and discern," and this is the angel Gabriel speaking to Daniel, "that from the issuing of a decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until Messiah the Prince, there will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It will be built again with plaza and moat, even in times of distress. Then after the 62 weeks, the Messiah will be cut off and have nothing, and the people of the prince who is to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary." But the first part of that is very important because it's talking about when the Messiah will actually be presented to Israel. And so we have actually a very specific day. The 7 and 62 weeks are felt to mean weeks of years, and that equates to 490 years to the day that we call Palm Sunday. And so in AD 32, 33 and all that, they believe this is the actual day that Jesus presented himself and came in, and the people cheered him and all. All is looking well for Jesus, but the Pharisees will have their play on all of this. Another interesting and very symbolic thing happens as we get ready for Passover week. Jesus has lived for 30 years as one of God's own people. God created a people so that he could send his son into the world, and the people are the Jews. And they're very, very special, and even to this day. He has announced himself. He's performed many miracles. He's selected those who will take the baton from him. He knows he's going to die in a week, but they don't. He's kept himself from being killed at the wrong time. And so all of this had to happen on the right time. He's been anointed for burial, and he has gotten right to the place in history where the Gentiles, the non-Jews, are seeking him. And so this is also a big, very important sign. So begins the Holy Week, wherein the same people who cheered him will turn and will be turned from him and will put him on a cross as a common criminal. They won't understand it, but it will be the will of the Father to have him crucified, in order for him to die and take the keys of hell from the devil and come back to life and set the captives free and open heaven's gates. It will be glorious, but there will be great horror, there will be great heartache, and there will be a great betrayal before the week is ended. So I'll see you next week.